Okay, so in today's video, we are taking another look at the good old Samsung Galaxy Tab A7 Lite here after using it for coming pretty close to 2 years. And we are also going to talk about what it is like using this tablet here after the major update to Android 13. Let's go ahead and jump in. First things first, in case you're not aware, this is just a variation of the regular A7, but this one actually dropped almost a year after the regular Galaxy Tab A7. I believe it dropped about 10 months later, so this is newer. We are coming pretty close to 2 years of using this tablet here since it dropped. Also, a lot of people wonder why this tablet even exists, but let me tell you this. This actually has its own crowd. There are a lot of people, if you even just go through the comments on a lot of my videos, you will see a lot of people who wish Samsung actually made more competitive, small form factor tablets that could compete against the like of the, Apple iPad mini, for example. We do have the Tab Active 3, but I personally think the price is still kind of ridiculous there, but it seems to be a pretty practical tablet there. I digress for a second. Anyway, so the Tab A7 here, after using it for about 2 years, performance from the get-go wasn't great, and this is not meant to be a high performer, right? This is meant to be a budget tablet for a lot of those people who are on the go, who want to be watching, maybe streaming some videos when they're traveling, or play some light games when they're traveling, if they just want to navigate the internet, check their emails and things like that. Or to those of you who purchased this, or who purchased the 4G version of this and want to stay connected, maybe want to use it as a secondary phone, this would be a nice pickup. So it was never meant to be a tablet that you buy so that it could compete against, pro or even mid-range tablets. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and do a very quick roundhouse, just a quick review of this tablet here, and then we're going to talk about what it's been like using this, and also how Android 13 affects the performance of this tablet, or just the user experience overall of this tablet here. Now, one thing that I have to admit is that because the tablet itself it doesn't perform that well, I personally have not used it that much. My kids have been using it. This is one of the tablets that's in their rotation, along with the Tab A7 and one of the S6 Lites. My daughter is the one who's been using this the most. Now, that said, every now and then I do use it, but remember, at the very beginning, I did a thorough testing of this tablet here, and for more than a few months, it was part of my rotation as I was continuing to test this and sharing videos with you. Now, of course, in preparation of this particular video, I have been using this, or it's been part of my rotation over the past month and a half. So in terms of performance, nothing has changed, even with the update to Android 13. In terms of how powerful the tablet itself is. It's not meant to become suddenly super powerful once you go ahead and update to Android 13. So it's still something where you would encounter, or at least I encountered, some lags. Actually, it did quit on me a couple of times when I was trying to do multitasking, which again is completely normal. It's not meant to be a super powerful tablet, right? So you will encounter some lags here and there if you try to go heavy on this particular tablet. Now, that being said, you've already noticed the form factor, right? It's a small tablet. The size here is 8.7 inches. The display is an 800, well, in terms of the resolution, 800 by 1340. So it's not a full HD display here, but that doesn't mean that picture quality is bad. It's actually pretty good given the specs that we have on paper. It actually looks really good. Watching movies here actually look pretty decent. Plus, you have a dual setup for the speakers here that are not bad at all. They sound pretty clean, and having this dual setup at the top here makes it so that you can hold your tablet this way and not cover the speakers there. So if you're playing games, watching movies, there are less chances of you covering the sound coming out of the speakers there. And quickly going over the physical features here, what you have will be your typical power button volume rocker. You do have a headphone jack here, USB Type-C port, which is always nice. The camera on the back here is an 8 megapixel camera, which is the same one that you find on the A7, the Tab S6 Lite, the A8. So I guess decent camera for what you pay for. It's not a top-notch camera. It's pretty decent for scanning documents, taking some pictures of documents, things like that. Not necessarily something that you use to take, high-def pictures. On the front of the tablet here, what you have is a 2 megapixel camera. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not really great. You could definitely make video calls here and the person will be able to see. As long as you have a well-lit setting, it will be decent, right? But definitely not something that is top notch. On the inside, what you have as a platform is actually a MediaTek chipset, right? So you're looking at the Helio P22T or a MediaTek MT8768T, which will offer budget performance. And my unit here is actually 32 gigs of internal storage, and that means that I have 3 gigs of RAM. So here you have that 3 gigs of RAM, comboed with that Helio P22T there. So definitely budget performance, which explains also why you get, lagging. By the way, when I say that this tablet lags, I don't mean as soon as you start working with it, it just starts lagging. I'm saying simply that you notice it a bit more than you would on a Tab S6 Lite, for example, or S7 FE, right? So you will encounter some lag. So if you're just doing your day-to-day tasks, you should be fine. Anytime you try to go a bit heavy, or let's say you just try moderate level of productivity, then you start encountering some lags. Now let's go ahead and talk battery here really quick. What you have loaded here is a 5100 milliamp battery. Now remember what I said, I first used this tablet here for a few months before I went ahead and passed that over to my daughter. And of course, she's used the crap out of it. So battery has taken a beating, and I can tell, just using it over the past, adding it to my rotation over the past month and a half or so, I can tell that the battery has taken a good beating, or maybe I'm just used to larger batteries. So battery life certainly has been affected. Definitely not seeing a day out of the battery life here. So if you have this thing and you're a power user and you use it every day, after a couple of years, you definitely will be able to tell that battery life is going down. And again, it does make sense because it's a small tablet with a relatively small battery size. Now, in terms of the upgrade to Android 13, it's actually good to see. It's a very nice thing to see here. When this tablet dropped, it was loaded with Android 11 out of the box. So obviously, of course, it's eligible for Android 13, along with One UI 5 here, which is really nice. It's a pretty nice addition to this because it truly changes just the interface, right? Just like it is the case with the Tab S6 Lite or the S7 FE or even the S8. You get almost the same stuff here, except of course here you don't have the things like Samsung DeX. So some of the more functional features that were added to Samsung DeX available on the mid-range or the premium tablet are not going to be available here. So the changes that you will be experiencing are going to be in tablet mode, essentially, right? So, but you still get all the new wallpapers, the new colors, the new color palette. You can customize in a number of ways, previously only made possible, jumping through some hoops in order to customize your tablet. So now you can customize even more. So that's good to see. You can play around with your navigation, where to locate them, the taskbar at the bottom there. You definitely do have access to kind of a lighter version of all the customization available with Android 13. Again, this tablet does not support Samsung DeX, and like I mentioned in previous videos, a lot of the more functional stuff that is new, you will find that on Samsung DeX or in Samsung DeX, not available on here. Now, this is a good point to go ahead and stop so I can give you my verdict. The Galaxy Tab A7 here still has its place in the tablet market, especially given that there aren't that many choices with this type of form factor. Samsung used to drop these types of tablet on a consistent basis. I'm certainly hoping that they do bring this back and try to make something like a smaller version of the Galaxy Tab S8 or the Tab S9 that's going to be coming up. So something small, but that can perform, right? And that the average consumer can go ahead and buy it. Like I said, they do have an active or Samsung Tab Active 3 that offers pretty good performance, but that one is geared towards people who are working on, in rough terrain and that need to be on the go. It's not really geared towards the average consumer. So I'm hoping they go ahead and do that. But anyway, so given that there aren't that many choices in terms of this particular form factor, I think this guy still has its place. Plus, you can pick up this thing for really, really cheap right now. When it first came out, it was like $160. So if you need something that you can use on the go and you don't really care for performance, you just want to do, regular stuff, checking your emails, maybe checking some news, watching some videos, maybe on the train, on the bus, whatever it is, or if you have some small kids, small children to whom you want to offer a very budget and kids-friendly tablet, this would be one to go for. Now, that being said, you have to make sure, like I always say, you have to make sure that you check for the absolute best price that you can find this tablet at. I will have some links in the description like I always do. These are dynamic links, and these should route you to the cheapest prices currently available on the Galaxy Tab A7 Lite here. So, has Android 13 improved performance? I'm going to say a little bit. I do notice some stuttering, like I said, but at the same time, for something that's been out for 2 years, I would have anticipated a bit more stuttering than, what I see here. What I'm noticing in terms of stuttering is something that is kind of equal to what it was when it first dropped. In a way, Android 13 didn't necessarily make it worse. Unless you're going for the form factor and you're looking for something really cheap that, you can easily put in your pocket or in your backpack, I would probably just say go for something else that offers performance that's a bit better than what you have here. That's just my take. Let me know what you think of this. What is your take on this tablet? Do you think this guy here has its place out in the market? Let me know your take. Let's get that back and forth going in the comment section. Make sure to like the video also if you haven't done so already. Also, make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Share this video if you know anyone who will be interested. I will catch you in the comment section, like I said. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.